Let me introduce myself. Hello, my name is Putri Nabilla N.S. I'm a student from President University. I'm majoring in international relations. You can find me on my Instagram at @benabilanov, or you can reach me on my email below. Thank you.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Hopefully that you are really healthy and happy. And we are going to week 6, that is right, by me, as usual, Putri Nabilla N.S. So let's get started. Introduction. What is right? A right is an entitlement, is something that is owed to you by the deity bearer. Like, for example, in the previous meeting, we talked about freedom of speech, right? It is the right to free expression, and you are entitled to that because you are citizens. You are given this right by the government, and eventually, it is a right of it is something that you are entitled, meaning they have the obligation to give you that right now. And then this is the type of right. There are two types of right. The first is legal right, and then the second is moral right. And legal right is divided into 5 categories. The first is privilege or liberty right, and this is no obligation not to do it. It is something a right, and we are not obligated to do that right. And the second is claim right. So we owe this to other people, example, not hurting others. And the third is legal powers. It is the ability to empower. For example, like the right to vote. And the last is immunities. This is the right not to be subjected to a practice. For example, like diplomatic, or if I'm not mistaken, in DPR in Indonesia, they also have like immunities right. And the second is moral right. This is right that only exists as moral claims, meaning they only tell us what should be. Like they may be real if they have a law created in the spirit of the right. Like for example, we have like morally correct to say whatever we want to say, that become a freedom of speech. And then this moral right is processed by the government into the law. This is the legal version of the moral right that we have been created before. And then we go to the type of right too, like the previous one about the liberty. We talk about negative and positive liberty, and here again about right, we talk about what is negative right and a positive right. So the first one is negative right. The right of non-interference. You have the right not to be stopped by anybody else in the pursuit of your claim. Example, the right to an adequate standard of living. Nobody has the right to stop you by way of harming or obstruction. And the positive right is you have the right to be provided with the means to pursue your claims. Example, like the right to an adequate standard of living. So the government should provide a welfare. So once again, when it's a negative liberty, with the same example or with the same topic example, that is the right to an adequate standard of living. So in the negative liberty, nobody has the right to stop you by way of harming or obstruction. But in a positive right, the government should provide a welfare for you. We go to here. It is a right, and this is type of right that is human right. This is fundamental right that we have. So the means of human right is a right that exists by virtue of being human. And there are 3 nature of human right. The first one is equal, all humans enjoy the same right, and the second is inalienable. Human rights cannot be taken from human nature and existence. And the third is universal. It means that human right applies to all humans. So whether you're a human right, all human beings are born free and equal. We have right to live, liberty and security. And the third is not subjected to torture or cruel treatment, right to education, and so on. Guys, we got the right are an essential pillar of society. There are the terms of social contract that both people and government have agreed. Like, if you remember at week 3, there are a social contract between the government and the citizen, right? And then the second is right, basically express and protect your liberty. So citizens has the right to have this right. The first one is the right to fair trial, and then the second is right of non-discrimination. The third is right to be free from cruel treatment, and the fourth is right to adequate standard of living. Basically, all citizens have all of this right. And distribution of right. So how do you think about the right of influences policy? It's kind of hard to tell about the distribution of right. For example, this is the case of does a woman can do an abortion? So there are two arguments or two idea to against or to receive that things that is abortion. So when we talk about distribution of right, it's kind of difficult because one and another has same right, and maybe there are like compete one on one and each other about the right. For example, like the pro-life, babies have right to live, and therefore we have an obligation to keep it alive. Then the other is pro-choice. The fetus is still part of the woman's body, and thus it is the mother choice that should be prioritized. So, in this case, there is right a right life of baby, then there is a right from the mother that is pro-choice. Women can take or women can choose whatever they want because that is their body, right? And this is kind of hard to tell about distribution of right because sometimes the right of humanity is kind of distraction or compete one in each other. So yeah, thanks. That's all for my presentation basically. And the conclusion is there are two types of right, that is negative right and then the positive right. So and there are a legal right and a moral right. How to become the moral right to legal right? It is through institution and make it as law. And there is a citizen right, the fourth one, and distribution of rights. Until now, it's kind of hard to tell. And then thank you. Do you have any question or comment, or you want to revise my material? It is very okay. Feel free to contact me via email at Nabilla N.S. @gmail.com. And I want to give credit that this material, all of this material is below to my lecturer, that is Sir Gusti, Bagus, Dharma, Agastia. Thank you for your material and your explanation that I can understand so well about this material. So yeah, I also put the credit of this presentation template. It was created by Sludge.co, including icons by Platicon and infographics and image by Verbake. Thank you so much. Thank you for all support.